to the Relentless CEO Podcast.
Relentless!
With Adam Kifer. Follow your path to success alongside icons and industry leaders in martial arts, fitness, and more.
Let's go.
This is the Relentless CEO Podcast.
Welcome to another episode of the Relentless CEO Podcast. We're going to piss off a whole bunch of martial arts school owners on this one. So stick with me because we're talking about 10 reasons why you should want to be a McDojo. Yes, I can tell you're triggered already just hearing that. And you're like, Adam's a sellout and all this stuff. Just hold on. Just stay with me. We're going to piss you guys off a little bit, but there's some valid arguments to be had here. So top 10 reasons why you should want to be a McDojo. Now, before we jump into this, let's talk about what is a McDojo. So there's a general argument for definition in our industry, which, if I'm being honest, tends to be that if a martial arts school is more successful than you, they must be a McDojo. And that's what we see a lot. It's a term that comes from jealousy in a lot of different areas. And it's also a term that comes from people that maybe don't want to evolve and are sort of stuck in their ways. And they see this new school doing things differently, doing things more modern, and it's not their way. So that school absolutely must be a McDojo. I'm going to say this. I'd rather be $1 million a year McDojo than a $200,000 a year old school traditional martial arts school. Because I can make much more of an impact with $1 million school in my community than I can with a $200,000 martial arts school, regardless of what we teach. So my definition of a McDojo is different than maybe what we see on the internet. To me, the typical McDojo is someone that does not have quality students. And also it's a school that focuses more on just pushing people through the belt, not having standards, and just keep paying us, we're going to give you belts. But that's not how it gets thrown around in our industry. It gets thrown around as, oh, that school's successful, they must be a McDojo. So let's break down 10 reasons why you should want to be a McDojo. Now, I'm going to put a little disclaimer here. I'm not saying you should want to have crappy students. I'm not saying you should rush people through the belt process. But I'm going to give you guys 10 pretty strong arguments for why it's not a bad thing to be called a McDojo. So let's dive right in. First of all, if we think about a McDojo, it's based off McDonald's, right? So fast, cheap, all that stuff is sort of the play here. But if you think about McDonald's, using this as an example, one of the things that made McDonald's what they are today is systems and efficiency. If you have ever seen the movie The Founder, which talks about the building up of McDonald's, the first time he goes to the McDonald's location, he places his order, he turns around, ready to go sit down, and they slide the order through the window already. And he's just looking at it confused, and he's like, that can't be my order. Like, I just placed it. And like, no, this is your order. And he's like boggled because he doesn't understand how they got the order done that fast. And then when he actually goes inside the restaurant, he sees the hamburger making process is so efficient that they can have hamburgers ready to order as soon as you get up to the window. Same with their milkshakes and French fries and all of this stuff. So one of the things that McDonald's has done to make themselves successful is they're constantly reevaluating ways to be more efficient with how they produce things. And the one thing that I can't knock McDonald's on is the experience is pretty consistent from location to location. If you get a cheeseburger at one location and you get one at the other, they both taste exactly the same. Same thing with milkshakes and Big Macs and all of this. They have consistency because they have their systems dialed in. Is the same thing true for your martial arts school? If you teach a class and then one of your other instructors teaches a class, is it the same experience? Or are people in the other instructor's class saying, man, we wish you were teaching this class? Because what that shows is a lack of systems because there's no consistency. There was an Orange Theory owner I was talking to one time, and he had 3 locations. They had no class plans for their classes. And he decided to install class plans because he wanted to have some systems in there. He wanted consistency. When he installed class plans, his 3 most creative trainers all quit because they didn't have flexibility and freedom to be creative in their role. And I know that sounds bad, right? But within the next 2 years, he had 9 locations because of consistency. There was no longer people just showing up to a trainer's class because it was their favorite trainer. They wanted to come to all the classes because it was a consistent experience from class to class, and it wasn't personality based. So my question for you guys is, on the mat, do you have class plans? So that way anyone can jump in and teach a class and it's not based on the personality of the instructor. Do you have consistent training in place for your people? So that way everyone can step up and perform at the same standards and the same level when they're teaching a class in your school. Systemized processes creates efficiency in your business. And that's reason number one why you should want to be a McDojo. Number two, everywhere you go, you see McDonald's. Everywhere. I've traveled to Italy. Guess what? There's McDonald's in Italy. I've gone to England. There's McDonald's in England. Mexico. There's McDonald's in Mexico. There are McDonald's everywhere you go in the United States. They are everywhere. One of the things they do so good is making sure that you can always find those golden arches. If you go on a road trip, guess what? When there's signs by the exit, it's always telling you if there's a McDonald's there. They've done such a good job of placement of locations, such a great job of making sure that they are super easy to find, that no matter what, you're going to find McDonald's wherever you go. If we think about this when it comes to a martial arts school, McDonald's has this down to a science of where they're placing the locations. Okay, they know how far apart to be from each other. They know what to put it next to as far as like anchor stores or anchor strip malls. They have this down to a science. So the thing that we have to think about with our martial arts schools, our fitness studios, is how do we make everything a science? Like how are we able to look at data and then act on that data to properly place locations where they need to go? The other part of this is they're doing some different types of marketing, and we're going to get into a lot of their marketing a little bit later in this episode. But if you just think about not digital marketing, not billboards, not commercials, any of that, their signage is everywhere. You can spot those golden arches from miles away. They attract it. You can see it up over other businesses and stuff. So they've done a good job really thinking about, hey, when we have a location, how do we get as many eyes on this location as possible? And for us, I think a lot of us, we open a location on a shoestring budget and we're not really paying attention to like, well, how do we get our signage everywhere? How do we get people to notice that our location is here when they're driving by? And I know it's the age of the internet, and a lot of you guys are like, Adam, you don't need to be visible. You can run digital ads. Absolutely. I agree with that. But there is something about someone actually seeing your physical location, driving by, walking by. Remember, this isn't the age of, oh, people need to see your brand 7 times before they purchase. That was from a 1970s Harvard study. And they were talking about movie posters. They said that you had to show someone a movie poster 7 times for them to purchase a movie ticket. That's what that whole study was based on. Google today says, no, you need 500 touches for someone to purchase something that costs the same as an airline ticket. So if we're talking like an airline ticket is $200, it's probably about what a lot of you guys are charging per month that are listening. So think, how do we get in front of someone 500 times? Well, visibility helps with that. Okay, whether it's signage that you guys have on the exterior of your building, whether it's window clings that you have on the windows, whether it's signage that you guys have on the pillars outside the strip mall, snipe signs, flag signs, whatever it is, what are you doing to increase visibility for your business? So no matter where people are driving or where they go, they see you everywhere. Do you have rack cards out at all the local businesses? So that way when someone goes to a local business, boom, you're right there. Move martial arts, move martial arts, move martial arts. We want people coming into your studio and saying, I see you guys everywhere. You guys follow me everywhere I go. One of my mentors calls this digital herpes. And I know it's a funny saying, but it's like, hey, this stuff sticks with you no matter where you go. You can't get rid of it. It is digital herpes. So yes, I'm telling all of you to get digital herpes. Get digital herpes so that way no matter where you go or wherever people go, your brand follows them. All right, let's keep going with this. McDonald's in general knows its superpower and it doesn't stray from it. Here's what I mean. We all know what we get when we go to McDonald's, right? You're not getting fine dining. You're not getting the highest quality food, not even close. What you're getting is consistency and speed. We know that you can go to McDonald's, get in and out pretty quick, and the food's going to taste the same every single time. except when you get soggy fries, but that's another story. Okay, but the food's going to taste the same every single time. So its superpower is consistency. Its superpower is speed. They're not trying to serve you a filet mignon. They're trying to serve you quick, fast food to eat, and that's it. And they stay in their lane and they own that lane. We've seen Wendy's try and come in. We've seen Burger King and Taco Bell try and come in. McDonald's still owns it because they stay true to what they are as a business. Here's where martial arts schools mess this up horribly. You have your core martial arts style that you teach, right? Okay, and you start off and you're building your school and it's not growing as fast as you want. So you're like, man, what if we add jujitsu? What if we add Kali stick training? What if we add this and this and this and this? And all of a sudden, you have strayed away from what you do best. And instead of being able to focus and go all in on your superpower, now all of a sudden you have to split your focus and split your energy between all these different options and programs that you're teaching. Okay, McDonald's stays in its lane. Okay, you don't see McDonald's trying to serve tacos. You don't see McDonald's trying to serve steak. They just stay with what they're known for and what they're good at. For us in this industry, it's about simplifying what we do, right? A lot of us are trying to add things on to the business, hoping that everything we add is going to generate more revenue, and it's going to hundreds of dollars at a time, which is going to take forever. And at the end of it all, it's going to create more distractions for you because now you're spread thin across all these different things that you're doing in your school. Okay, there's a reason we've been able to kick ass without summer camp, without after school. We just have our base program and an upgrade program. That's it. It's simple. It's scalable. We're staying in the lane with our superpowers. So my question for you guys is, what do you guys need to do to simplify your business so that you can really, really maximize what it is that you guys do best as a martial arts or a fitness studio? Stay in that lane. Don't veer off. All right, next. They know their target audience and they're able to attract their target audience back consistently. If we think about this, one of the greatest examples of this that I've seen McDonald's do is their adult Happy Meals. They played so much into nostalgia that they sold, the first time they did this, they sold out of all their adult Happy Meals because they knew their target audience and they're like, hey, these are all people that used to buy Happy Meals from us when they were kids. Let's bring them back an adult Happy Meal with similar toys that they used to get when they were kids in an adult Happy Meal. And they absolutely crushed it because they knew that at the heart of it, every adult that got that would be brought back to when they were a kid. The other thing that they know is they know that a majority of their audience or the majority of people that come to McDonald's is because their kids want to go to McDonald's. It's why they have play places or had play places before COVID. It's why every Happy Meal has a toy. If I tell my kids that we're going to get McDonald's and I'm like, we're going to get you guys cheeseburgers and nuggets because that's like all they eat there. Like, we'll get you cheeseburger and nuggets. Cool. They can give two shits about cheeseburgers and nuggets. They want a Happy Meal because they want that damn toy. So McDonald's has done a great job attracting the kids to McDonald's, knowing that if the kids are going, the parents are going to probably order food as well. And it just works. They know their audience and they stay focused on bringing those people back again and again. My question for all of you guys is, who is your target avatar for your business? Who is the ideal client that you are trying to obtain in your business? For us, it's the mom that shops at Lululemon, the mom that's walking around Target drinking her Starbucks drink. It's the mom that is fitness focused or lifestyle focused and sees that as something that's important to them. Because if it's important to mom, it's going to be important for her kids as well. So we know all of these things. So we know that when we run ads on Google, we're going to target people that are using the Lululemon app. We're going to target people that are using the Target app because these all fit within our avatar of who we're looking for. We also know that if we're targeting moms that shop at Lululemon, they can also probably afford our classes because what is a pair of yoga pants at Lululemon? It's over $100, like for yoga pants. Crazy, right? But if they're paying $100 for yoga pants, can they pay $227 for martial art classes? That's like 2.5 pairs of yoga pants. Easy, right? So what I would encourage you guys to do is survey your current student base, or your parent base, I should say, and find out as much as you can about them. Where are your favorite places to shop? What social platforms are you on the most? What area of town do you live in? And start asking them these questions so you can really see what are the common patterns between all of our members. Because that's what we want to focus on with your marketing is all right, if we know that most of our parents are all on Instagram, then why are we spending so much money on Facebook? Like, why don't we divert our attention to Instagram? Or I see this time and time again too, where we'll work with a new school owner and we're going through and they're just posting on Facebook. And then we have them survey the parents at their school, and like 80% of them are on Instagram more than they are on Facebook. So I'm like, you're just wasting time focusing on Facebook right now. If you're going to pick one platform to actually do social posts on, how about we do it where our target audience is and move over to Instagram and focus on that instead? Same thing is true as B2B marketing, business to business marketing. Find businesses that attract similar clientele as to what you are looking for your school or for your fitness studio, and then partner with them on things. When you do a community event, invite them to come be a part of it. So that way, when they have marketing opportunities, they're going to include you on it. Trade off emails. Be like, hey, you write an email, I'll send it to my list. I'm going to write an email, you send it to your list, and let's leverage each other's list that we already have, because it's essentially free marketing. Okay. And when you do this, what you do is you leverage it from that business owner. So the email should sound like that business owner wrote it. So if I'm partnering with Kumon Learning Center, and let's say we're doing an email trade-off, I'm going to write the email like it's coming from the owner of Kumon recommending our martial arts school, and they're going to do the same thing. They're going to write an email that sounds like me recommending Kumon for our students. Because when it comes from a third party and not the owner, it becomes a lot more powerful, all right? So some simple things that you guys can do, but they know their target audience. They stick with it. Okay, next. This one's awesome. And I see there's a shout out I'll give on this because someone is super smart in doing this right now. They own the land that all their locations are on. Even if a McDonald's financially fails, the land is still appreciating. So they're going to make money somehow. And that's where the genius of McDonald's came in is when Ray Kroc came into McDonald's and started to take it over, he saw this as a real estate business. He didn't see it as a fast food business. So he knew that real estate was going to be worth loads of money and that was going to continue to appreciate over time. Shout out to Solomon Brenner. Solomon Brenner with Action Karate, very similar strategy where they're owning the land of what a lot of their schools are on. And I think that's a genius idea because even if a school is not performing up to par, guess what? That land is still going up in value consistently. And then also, guess what they're doing is they're collecting lease payments from the school owner, most likely. I don't know this for sure. I'm just guessing this, but they're probably collecting lease payments from the school owner as well. So now they have this recurring revenue in the form of a lease. They probably have some sort of franchise fee or something. Again, this is speculation on my part. Solomon, sorry if I'm messing this up. But now they have this income coming in. They have the land appreciating. And now if they ever exit or choose to exit, they're not just selling the company. They have all this real estate that they're selling with it now. Think about the multiple that they're going to get on that. I think it's genius. So if you have the opportunity to buy the land for your school or buy the building for your school, I think that's a great way to go. Just make sure you're completely educated on real estate. Make sure you have someone guiding you through the process that's done it before. Not me. I'm not the guy for that. Next, marketing that sticks with you and your kids. Okay, McDonald's has had some epic campaigns over the years. Everyone remembers the I'm Lovin' It campaign with the Justin Timberlake song. Like when that came out, it was stuck in everyone's head. Okay, everyone would do the ba-da-da-da-da. And it was almost like a viral marketing campaign. It was probably one of their most successful campaigns in history. Okay, you go back to the 90s, they had like the Jordan versus Larry Bird, like nothing but net campaign where they were trading off shots and making these ridiculous shots back and forth. But the crazy thing is, like, I still remember that to this day because they took two of the most relevant people at the time, put them in front of us to promote McDonald's. They are so good at creating marketing campaigns or working with agencies that create marketing campaigns that are going to become viral and become something that sticks in the heads of their target audience. The problem in the martial arts industry right now is everything is freaking cookie cutter. Everything. Like, it is so hard. If I take 100 martial arts schools and I look at all of their ads and all their social media, I can almost guarantee that like 95 of those schools are going to look exactly the same through their social presence. There's not going to be much of a difference. They're all going to say they're the best in character development. They're all going to say they have the best students. They're all going to have students in white gis or black gis. They're all going to have similar belts. Like, there's not going to be much difference that you see on the outside, which makes it really hard for parents to understand the difference between martial arts school A, B, and U. So what are we doing to make ourselves stand out in a super saturated and crowded marketplace? And when I say super saturated and crowded, you might be thinking, well, I don't have that many martial arts schools around me, Adam. That's not your only competition, dude. Like, your competition is basketball, soccer, football, any other activity that can take up the kids' time and prevent them from doing martial arts is your competition. With that being said, what are you doing marketing-wise to really show that your school is different from everything else, that does things better than other sports? What is the methodology behind that? I think a couple of things that you guys should do is, if you're using a marketing agency, use one that creates custom copy and ads for your school. Don't use one that's taking the same template and the same copy for 150, 200 other schools and just plugging in your logo and your name and off to the races. Okay, the cool thing at Relentless, yes, shameless plug. The cool thing at Relentless is like our clients get custom ad copy to their martial arts school. They get interviewed so we understand what really makes their martial arts school different from the martial arts school down the street, what makes it different and unique compared to other sports and activities. So that way we can call those things out in the marketing. So when parents are reading the marketing, it's not the same as what they're seeing everywhere else. It's something very unique and specific to that exact school. So I think when it comes to marketing, most people have this box that they try and stay in because they're just copying what other martial arts schools do, which I think is the most terrible idea on the freaking planet. If you think about it, most martial arts schools don't know what the hell they're doing with marketing. I would be looking at franchises. I'd be looking at large companies and seeing what they're doing to stand out and really set themselves apart from the competition in their marketing, because I guarantee they put more money and time into researching their marketing than a martial arts school. When we do research for campaigns, I'm constantly looking at what other companies are doing in other industries to see where I can draw inspiration and bring those in to ours. Like, one of the greatest examples of this, and this was just an email campaign. If you guys remember Build-A-Bear back in the day, they did a pay your age special where if your son was 8 years old and you went to Build-A-Bear, you paid $8 for a Build-A-Bear that day. Every Build-A-Bear sold out like in 2 hours. It was insane. Like, I remember seeing the pictures from people in malls, like people were getting upset because everyone was sold out and all this stuff. But it killed it. They were in all the press, all over the place. So we took that same concept that Build-A-Bear did, and we did a pay your age trial special where we set up a coupon code for every single age up to 18. And when someone would reply to an email with their kid's age, we'd send back the coupon code. They'd plug it into the checkout page, and they'd pay $8 for their kid's trial because their kid's 8 years old. I remember we ran this, and there was one specific school, and I still remember to this day. He hit me up and he just sent the first email out of the series of 3 emails that we put together. So he sends us out and he goes, "Yo, Adam," he goes, "we got 25 trials from one email." He goes, "I don't get 25 trials in a month." He's like, "This is insane." And it the only reason it was insane is because it stood out against what everyone else was doing. There's no other emails going to these people's inboxes that was like, "Hey, pay your age, train for 21 days. Pretty simple, right? So when we're thinking about how we're doing our marketing, I just want you guys to think about what are we doing to create a special that sticks with people. I would encourage you guys to look up David Ogilvy. I talk about him all the time. He has a big idea concept that he talks about, and he has these 5 questions to determine if this idea is a legit big idea when it comes to marketing. And I would encourage you guys, if you just Google David Ogilvy, big idea, you'll be able to see all of those questions he goes through. When you're trying to think about marketing ideas and campaigns, run it through those 5 questions, make sure it checks all the boxes of being something that is going to be unique and is going to stand out compared to the crowded marketplace. All right, next reason why you should want to be a McDojo. McDonald's is relevant all the time. All the time they are relevant. Think about this. If something is popular to kids, they have toys for it in their Happy Meal. When Pokemon cards came in Happy Meals, my kids were begging to go to McDonald's constantly. They wanted the Pokemon cards. If you guys remember back in the day when the Beanie Babies were in Happy Meals, I remember people like fighting over Beanie Babies at McDonald's. I remember there was people that would go and try and buy like bags of Beanie Babies from McDonald's. It was crazy. Why was it so successful? Is because Beanie Babies were super relevant at the time. They're so good at keeping up what's relevant. We think the newest thing they've been doing is taking pop culture figures and creating meals around them. So they have J Balvin meal, Cardi B and Offset meal, Travis Scott meal, and these are all people that this next generation looks up to and listens to. So when they hear there's a Travis Scott meal and Travis Scott has the #1 song in the nation, guess what? They want to go get a Travis Scott meal from McDonald's. Now, I remember back in the day when I was a kid, they had the Mick Jordan meal, which obviously Chicago, that was like my thing. The excitement I had to go get a Mick Jordan meal and get a Michael Jordan toy was like ridiculous. And if you guys remember the sandwich, it was a terrible sandwich. It was like ketchup, mustard, pickles, barbecue sauce. Ketchup, mustard, barbecue sauce is weird. Bacon was on there. It was like a disgusting sandwich. And I remember I had to like force myself to eat the sandwich just because I wanted the Michael Jordan stuff. That's it. But it's because, again, Jordan was the biggest sport athlete on the planet. And guess what? They stayed relevant with what they were doing. Here's where a lot of you guys are going to get butt hurt. A lot of what you guys are teaching is not relevant anymore. It's not relevant to what parents want their kids to learn. It's not relevant to how culture has evolved and changed. And I'm not trying to like crap on traditional martial arts. I think there's reasons to do traditional martial arts, but I think a lot of us are marketing traditional martial arts for the wrong reasons that aren't really relevant to today. If you're, this is gonna cost so much shit. If you're like primarily a form school and you're like, we're going to teach you how to protect yourself and you're only teaching forms, that kid's going to get his ass kicked by a bully. Sorry. I know the comments are coming on this one. I'll take them. A lot of us are marketing things that we don't teach in our school, or we're marketing things in a way that's not really relevant to right now. There was a traditional martial arts instructor that was commenting on one of my videos, arguing that what he teaches in his school could have saved someone's lives in the 1800s. So could a musket. You see anyone walk around with a musket to protect themselves anymore? Like, the funny thing is, like, we don't go back and we're not like these same people that are arguing like, oh, this worked back in the day and this was like so-and-so's like blah, blah, blah. All the people that are talking about this, they're not driving around in fucking horse and buggies. They're not using like rotary phones still. They've evolved in evolved and become relevant in every other area of their life, except they're holding on to this stuff that Johnny Tension refers to Dungeons and Dragons bullshit. And that's what it is. Now, before the pitchforks come out, you can still make traditional martial arts relevant to today. Okay? It's about why you're teaching it, what it helps with, and being realistic about it. I used to teach traditional martial arts. I trained in traditional martial arts my whole life. The school I took over was originally a Taekwondo school. We switched everything to be more relevant because it was something that I was training at. And I got tired of seeing my kid on the mat wishing that he was doing either boxing, kickboxing, Muay Thai, jiu-jitsu, something that I know he would be able to really use to protect himself. And here's the thing, guys. Like, I did traditional martial arts my whole life. I competed. I consider myself to be a pretty damn good martial artist when it comes to traditional martial arts. Maybe not anymore, but I was. I did not have the confidence to protect myself that I have now since I started doing like MMA and that type of training, combat sports specifically. I have way more confidence that if something goes down and I need to protect my family or protect my wife or protect myself, that I can do it in like 95% of cases and still walk out of there and be okay. Before I didn't feel that way. And I did Hapkido, it's like joint locks and stuff like that. But like also in Hapkido, when the person punches at you, they hold their arm out there for a while so you can throw them. It's like, it's compliant martial arts, in my opinion. So on the curriculum side, what are you doing to stay relevant, right? Because dads will watch your stuff and call bullshit. Even in the transition of us going from Taekwondo to more like kickboxing, Muay Thai boxing base, we had the parents that had been with us through the Taekwondo part start watching the classes where we transitioned our curriculum, and like, you know, I'm so glad that you guys moved this route, because I can really see how this would actually apply to him being able to protect himself, or to her being able to protect herself. That's why we switched. Okay. And also I was training in these styles, or in these combat sports before we switched. So it wasn't me just like, hey, let's switch without me training in it. So you have curriculum relevancy. And then you also, this is going to hurt some feelings too. You also have relevancy in terms of like the design of your location. How many of us haven't updated crap, or how many of us are just okay with like mediocre crap in our school? Folding chairs. Like anyone can go buy that shit at Walmart, and you want to charge $150 while your parents sit in folding chairs? Like, invest in some nice seating. You should not have holes in the wall in your school. Like, the number of martial arts schools I walk into or see on video, and I see heel holes in the wall from someone backing into it during sparring or something, and it's not fixed, drives me freaking mad. Water stains on your ceiling tiles. Like, it just shows that you don't have standards. It shows that you don't care about updating anything. And if you're not going to pay attention to those details, how do parents trust you with paying attention to keeping their kids safe when they're in your facility? They're not going to. And then the one trend I want us to please get rid of in this industry is stop going into martial arts school Facebook groups and asking for design guidance for your martial arts school. None of those people have any design background. They don't have any architecture background. They probably did it themselves as best as they could, where there's nothing wrong with that, but it's not the people you want to take advice from. You want to take advice from the best people that do it. Like, if I'm trying to make an awesome retail space in my studio, the last place I'm looking is martial arts schools. I don't need glass cases in my lobby. I want people to be able to touch and feel things so that they'll actually buy them, not look through a glass case at a t-shirt like it's a Fabergé egg. We need to do better. Start looking at Nike. They're like the kings of retail. Look at how they set up things and model it off of that. Start looking at high-end fitness facilities or franchises and look at how they design their front end. When we design our Move Martial Arts location, which maybe we can show some shots over here or here or here in the editing process. When we design this, the design guide that I put together to give to the architect was all based on looking at who was doing it best and then modeling it off of that. I did not look at a single martial arts school when we designed Move Martial Arts. Not a single one. Because I didn't think anyone was doing it right or doing it the best way possible. I looked at everything else besides the martial arts school when we were putting Move together. So for us staying relevant, we can't look at an industry that's 10 or 15 years behind every other industry and hope to be relevant. What we can do is look for industries that are paving the way and leading the way and model things off of that, because now it's keeping us relevant. Like the whole concept of Move Martial Arts is video game based. You think video games are still going to be relevant in 30 years from now? Yeah, 100%. They earn XP points to get to the next level. Every belt has a level on it. Every belt looks like a video game skin. Like we modeled this concept off of what is relevant to kids today and is still going to be relevant to kids 30 years from now. How do you stand out and make your studio relevant in today's culture? What I would encourage all of you guys to do is do a walkthrough of your studio and start listing, like, what do we need to update? And I would actually encourage you guys to bring maybe some kids that are your target demographic in and be like, if you could redo this whole school, what would you do? Bring some parents and do the same thing with them. And then if you really want to go above and beyond, bring an interior designer or an architect in and be like, what could we do better? And then listen to them. Remove the ego. Okay, last, number 10. 10th reason you should be a McDojo. impact. One of the things I want to point out here, and you actually skipped a point, but we'll combine these. A lot of you guys don't realize McDonald's $23 billion company. McDojo still sound bad? $23 billion company, but with that money also gives them the opportunity to provide a bigger impact. We take a look at Ronald McDonald House. It is in over 90% of the top children's hospitals in the country. They've saved over $611 million for families just on meals and hotel rooms alone, not to mention medical care. Like, they are making an enormous impact, whether you agree with me or not. They're making an enormous impact because they have the money to do so. Like, we had a student when I was teaching in Chicago, this young girl, Michaela, who was diagnosed with cancer. She was in Ronald McDonald Hospital. That's where she was, and they treated her so good. They would bring around like dogs for the kids to pet and stuff. They'd have people bring and donate toys, and it was awesome just to see how much care they took of this little girl as she was going through this horrific disease. A lot of us are bitching about McDojos because they're making money. And here's what I don't understand. If you got into martial arts to make an impact, how are you going to bitch about a martial arts school that has the opportunity to make a bigger impact than you? Because they have the money available to actually make that impact. Right? I think the people that I hear complain about McDojos the most are the people that are suffering inside their own business or their own martial arts school. You can't save lives in an empty church, and you can't change lives in an empty martial arts school. That school down the street that has 300 students that you think is a McDojo to your 50 students, guess what? They have an extra 250 opportunities to change lives that you don't, because you're stuck in this limited belief set, this limited mindset. The way that you make a bigger impact is you provide more opportunities for yourself to make that impact through marketing, through making more money. That's why it's so important as a martial arts school for you to learn the business, because if you can't keep money, you don't have money to actually put out back into the community and make an impact with. Like, one of my favorite things about being at the level I am now is the amount of people that I can go out and help. There's opportunities. I can tip way more to servers that are great than I could before. I can give money to homeless people when I see them and like really change their life. And there was an opportunity in Houston where I just got to do this, and it was one of the most rewarding experiences ever. Like, this guy, Michael, was in the street yelling, "Praise Jesus," like at the top of his lungs after I helped him. Like, that is an impact and just an experience that stays with you through your life. And it just reminded me of how grateful I am for the things and the people I have in my life. If I didn't have successful businesses, I wouldn't be able to do those things. I wouldn't be able to make a difference in other people's lives. Like, one of our big goals over the next 3 years is to create a charity that actually helps families that can't afford martial arts to train in martial arts anywhere in the country. Because we know martial arts changes lives, but we also know that there's a lot of martial arts school owners that aren't good business people. And as a result, they're not actually bringing enough people in to make a significant impact in their community. So through this charity that I want to set up, we'd be able to actually sponsor kids that can't afford it or families that can't afford it to go train at a martial arts school in their area. So that way that martial arts school has the opportunity to change lives. But here's the thing, when we launch this, there's going to be certain criteria that martial arts schools have to meet in order to be a part of this program. Like, if we audit your school, or if we go through the application process and we don't see that your communication is good, we don't see that your student quality is good, we don't see that you actually really have a character development program that makes an impact, instead of just marketing that you have a character development program and have nothing in place, like, we're not going to send kids to your school. So we want to make sure that with this thing that we're launching over the next 3 years is that we're sending them to a place that actually is going to change their life and actually is going to make an impact on them and is actually going to have a mentor for them that's going to help be an outside voice for those parents. Because I think by doing that, not only can we help get more money into martial arts schools, but we can change way more lives. And there's going to be a lot of kids that probably couldn't afford to do any sports or activities that are now able to train and do martial arts. and get off the street and get into a positive environment. And I think that's freaking amazing. But again, we wouldn't be able to be working towards that if we didn't have successful businesses to generate the money to be able to start that up. The reason you're in martial arts is to make an impact and to change lives. I just encourage you to look at how you're doing business and how you're running your school. And are you actually running it in a way that's going to allow you to change and impact the maximum number of lives possible? Or are you stuck in a limited mindset where money is evil, money is bad, I don't want money, money is the root of all evil, which is not the quote in the Bible. Reread it. The love of money, not money. Money is a tool. That's all it is. It is just a tool. It is a resource like anything else. The more of this resource you have, the more good that you can do. And that's what I want to leave you with. I hope maybe you didn't end up as triggered at the end of this as you did at the beginning. But I also hope that this just brings to light like a different level of thinking. Like I already know with Move Martial Arts, we're doing things so different and so out of the norm when it comes to martial arts. I 1,000,000% know people are going to be calling us a McDojo. Like one of the things I understood the most going into this was the amount of shit talking that would happen from other martial arts schools. But you know what? I take it as a compliment because they don't understand what we're doing, and I don't need them to understand what we're doing. That's not the reason I started this business. The reason I started this business was to make martial arts relevant in a different way, to make an impact with kids, and to have an actual character development program that kids really want to do, are motivated to do, and can actually use to show and demonstrate that not only are they hearing about the life skills and character development, but they're actually putting it into action in their lives at home. And a cool example of this is we just did our first goal setting with our new character development program. And my son, Grayson, my oldest son, plays piano. So he's been doing piano lessons for a little while. Part of this challenge was we did a 21-day habit challenge where the kids got to pick if they were going to practice martial arts every day for 21 days, do an instrument every day for 21 days, read a book every day for 21 days. So my son Grayson chose to do piano. I heard this kid like on day 16 and I was like, there's no way that's Grayson. And I go out there and this kid is just like destroying the piano, playing the song Rush E, which is a super hard song to play, and just killing it. And my wife is like, man, he has gotten so good at piano because he's been practicing every day. Those are the moments when I create in the homes of the parents of all of our students, where the parent is watching the kid do something better than they did it before, maybe something that they've never done before on their own, and just thinking, holy crap, this thing works. What they're learning at this martial arts school actually works. So I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. I hope we got you to think differently. I hope we challenge your thinking. I hope for those of you stuck in a limited mindset, I hope we hurt your feelings a little bit. And I hope it was painful to listen to this and we got you rethinking some things. But if you guys have any questions, comment below. If you just want to shit talk all my ideas, comment below. I'm up for it. And we will see you guys on the next episode.
We're unstoppable, to the top, we about to go. That CEO, I need to know the impact we about to grow. Competition, comical, straight A1, we on the road. Money focus for the goal, tell them what they need to know. We unstoppable.